Hi everyone. Fusion systems. Well, the fusion and the multiplied, there are two new systems of speargun that are becoming increasingly popular, and there is a very, very good reason for that. So I want to quickly show you how they work and why they are considered a huge improvement in speargun technology. Now, this is a traditional speargun. You see single rubber. Now, the rubber is used to give energy to the spear, so the tank of energy that I provide to the gun while I load it. So when I stretch the rubber, I provide with my muscle the energy to the system and accumulate it in the rubber. Now, two things. First, the rubber. You can take, this gun is a 60, or you can take a gun of 140. If the rubber is stretched, let's say at 320%, so if it's 10 centimeter, become 32 centimeter, well, the kilos, the quantity, the force is exactly the same, independently of the length of the gun. So this rub stretched at 320%, or in 140, the same rubber, much longer, stretched at 320%, they will still provide the same kilos on the spear point. So, if it's pulling 50 kilo, both will pull 50 kilo. The main difference, what explain the range, the increase of power. Now, I use all these non-technical terms just to make it easy, but the increase of power between a short gun and a long gun is due to the distance between the start point of the rubber until the point where the rubber let the spear go. So the force and the distance, they are proportional to the overall kinetic, to overall power of given to the spear. So that's why a longer gun, because it's directly proportional, it gets more power than a short gun. Not because the rubber pull more, but because there is a longer distance in which this rubber can provide energy to the spear. Now, in a traditional gun, I take now this 60 because it's very easy, it fit in the screen. Now, if in a traditional gun, you can see that at this point the rubbers are basically, they have no power at all. They're zero. So the distance, this is a 60, but the distance actually work is only from here to here. So it's not even 60 centimeter. In this case, it would be, in a traditional gun, it would be 220, because, so 2.3, 2.5 times the length of the rubber. So it's actually fairly short. In a 75, you only, let's say roughly, in a traditional gun, you have 2/3 of the length of the barrel in which you can use the rubber. After that, even actually earlier, because there is a point where the rubber starts to slow down and the spear has already accelerated, so the maximum speed. So basically, you don't even use the full length of the barrel. This problem has been sorted out partially in the roller system. But the roller have a problem that the rubbers, they suffer a lot of slowdown in the wheel, in the front. So you can see, I made another video. I will post a link down here. But basically, the evolution of the roller has been the fusion. This is the fusion system. What it means? It means that there is some wheels up here, a part of rubber on the upper part, and some rubbers in the lower part, and a fixing point down here. So, in this kind of system, the rubbers are pre-tension. You see, now the system is on rest, so how I keep it in my urhus, in the cellar, just to stay there. When I go fishing, I put this lower rubber in tension. So I pre-stretch of 200% the rubber. So this is 22 centimeter, become 44 centimeter. And I just grab it and pull it to the fixing point. So, and this is pretty easy. And now the spear gun is ready to be used for hunting. So at this point, I just use it as a traditional single rubber gun. So there is one rubber here. This is the only thing I touch. Put the spear in, grab it, and load it down. So this is going to be basically is exactly the same as a traditional spear gun. Still, I'm going to use not the full length of the barrel, because at this point the rubbers are soft, but the advantage is that I'm going to have, for the big part of the rubber, 2/3 of the rubber, is going to be pre-stretched already at 200% in the beginning. So I'm not starting from a situation of 0, but I start already from a certain load. Now you can see in the chart what I mean. So the color part is the energy, the potential energy that I can provide to the spear. And you can see the difference between the two systems is actually quite important. So this explains why I have available on my fusion gun more energy to provide to the spear. So this system is faster because I have a higher level of energy, so I can increase the speed of the same spear compared to a traditional, so just go faster, and has higher penetration, so because the spear can accumulate a higher kinetic energy. So when it reaches the fish, has more energy in it, and will go through it much easier. That also means I have a longer range. The big advantage, beside the power, that can be important, cannot be important for many people, really is not a big issue, is the recoil. Okay, both guns, they have the same primary recoil. What I mean primary recoil is the reaction of the system of the gun to the spear leaving the gun itself. It's like in a rifle and the bullet, or in a cannon and the projectile. When the spear, say this is 300 grams, leave with a certain energy in one direction, in the opposite direction I get the equal and contrary force. So basically, if I have 50 kilo in one direction, I get 50 kilo in the other direction. Okay, 50 kilo just to say a number. What happens in a traditional gun, I have the primary recoil. So the primary recoil cannot be eliminated by any system. That is Physics 101, is just there. Is the secondary recoil, mean the rubber that hit itself first, so start to push on itself, and ultimately will push on the barrel of the gun. The mass of the rubber that all of a sudden give a big hit in the muzzle of the gun. The fusion system, because in proportion has a much less mass compared to a traditional gun, and can give a higher speed to the spear, mean that when the rubber go to hit on the muzzle, the spear is already gone. It's not in the gun anymore. So this system plus is balanced by a big mass of rubber that come back down here. So in the area where you can easily control, because of course the lever here is much less than the lever here. So this kind of gun, the fusion gun, has a much lower recoil. If you try one time, by the way, you can come to the shop and borrow it. You can use it for one day. It's totally free. Just go out in the world, just bring it back, and you can borrow it and use it. But the difference of this gun, that the feeling you have, that there is almost no recoil, so it doesn't come back. So you shoot and say, what the fuck? So sometimes you don't even believe that the spear is left, instead it's already a 4 meter there in the fish. So big advantages, big evolution compared to a traditional system of the fusion is the higher speed of the spear, more energy, so more power, more penetration, and absolutely much less recoil in the shot. So much more accurate. So this is the first step of the third generation guns, and is, in my opinion, the best system to start to use new evolved spear guns. All guns, they have an error. Either you shoot a bit too high or a bit too low. So at the moment, you are hardwired to compensate. In the moment you shoot, you don't even think about it, because by learning, by muscle memory, you have learned to correct the error of your actual gun. In the moment you take a fusion or a demultiplied, these guns, they shoot totally straight. No down, no, just totally straight line. So you need to relearn the correction. You have to remove the correction from your shot. It take a while. For instinct shooting, it took me almost 1 year to relearn. For aimed shot, there's no learning curve. You just look at it, point. I do it here. I point the spear on the target, lift up the gun. In the moment I see the point disappear, I shoot. And now you are tonk, you're there. So that's all. I hope I try to be as simple, as quick as I can. I know it's a bit complex matter. If you have any questions, you can just send me a message or an email, and I will be happy to answer you. And remember, you can come. We have 2 of these guns in the shop that you can borrow. You can try it. So welcome to come Copenhagen and borrow it, and then tell me what you think about it. Okay? See you. Ciao, ciao.